Hello, welcome to another Great League video. I'm going to showcase a run of myself in my own practice tournament of Open Great League Show 6 Pick 3, which I think at this moment is like, play Pokemon feels to me like the pinnacle of PvP at the moment, right? Go Battle League's quite still with the meta. I think there are quite some core breakers to Show 6 Pick 3 formats such as Dunsparce has been becoming more popular, Umbreon is becoming more popular, and I'm trying to make Chesnaught work as well. This is a team that I use, Bastiodon, Chesnaught. I just want to try Bastiodon. It's more like a psychological Pokemon that scares away flies, because Noctowl is on basically every team. I also have Spark, Lanturn, and Power Stone, Alolan Ninetales to do so. Pelipper is somewhat of a safe switch, but I didn't like it as much because there's Lanturn everywhere, so it's not really a save anymore. And Sableye just pairs really well with Bastiodon. Let's take a look at the opponent, Dave C7, who has a Dunsparce, which actually pairs very well against my team. Basically beats everything in even shields, except Sableye in 0 shields. Pelipper's also so-so. But Chesnaught is a hard wall. It walls Galarian Stunfisk, it walls Dunsparce even harder. So it has that going for it. It's an iffy matchup here for both of us. I'm going to showcase one battle per set as per usual. Let's take a look at how this goes. I lead my Chesnaught into their Deoxys. I've played this a lot in the Go Battle League. This is not a bad matchup per se for Chesnaught. Because basically they never throw Thunderbolt. If they throw Thunderbolts to bait, you simply just outpace with the Frenzy Plant, so that's just very fine. Frenzy Plant already does a ton, and since they shield it, I kind of just want to swap out and preserve that Chesnaught, just in case there is like, I don't know, something like a Dunsparce in the back that I kind of want to bait out here. But they stay in, which is annoying. They try to catch on their Umbreon. I mean, I'm going to throw the Thunderbolt anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You might recognize this line. This is the team that I also used in Go Battle League itself, so I know it quite well. And this is not great because this Umbreon is sandwiched between my Chesnaught and Alolan Ninetales. My Lanturn is the last Pokemon I want on this, but it makes sense he brings this in there because Umbreon just takes Lanturn on quite well. It's just so bulky, but because I have so much energy, this is not even the worst matchup for Lanturn. I can flip this if I want, but I don't need to. At this point, I'm only a shield up. I can get a lot of farm though, and Chesnaught's energy is useful on everything on Dave's line. It can be anything in the back, really. I expect a Noctowl or Dunsparce. Basically, it was a Dunsparce because it's so good for him. He might just be playing something like ABB against my Chesnaught, right? Even though Umbreon, like you don't even counter Umbreon that well with Chesnaught. In comes Dunsparce, indeed. I swap back in my Chesnaught to get a little bit of energy advantage there. This Deoxys threw a Thunderbolt, so it doesn't have too much energy. I have 2 shields to shield, 2 Psycho Boosts here, and then I should be very fine here. Yeah, I'm definitely shielding everything here. This is super effective. I don't want my Chesnaught to be taken out. To be honest, I can let Chesnaught go because Power Stone Alolan Ninetales with shield advantage against Dunsparce is still quite fine. The Rock Slide is super effective, but the rollouts, even though also super effective, just doesn't do any damage at all. This Frenzy Plant, I believe, takes out Deoxys at this point, and now this Dunsparce is just pathetic against Chesnaught. I'm a big Dunsparce fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Dunsparce fan. But this is what Chesnaught is for. It just destroys that annoying rock ground coverage that's so good in the meta. Chesnaught just gets rid of that. I have a Weather Ball stored. I get rid of this Pokemon, and that's game over. I believe I won 2-1. Or did I 3-0 this one? I don't remember very well. Either way, this turned out very well. I didn't use Basti. I used Basti actually quite much in this tournament. Not as much in most of the matchups that I feature because it's quite RPS, of course. Next matchup against Chun. You may have seen him in other videos as well because he plays a lot of these practice tournaments too, and he uses this spicy Lurantis, the Dencore, and he's actually become really good with it. So this is not a meme team. This is an actual really good opponent. And he's also really good at the game. Actually, I'm always struggling against him. I lead my Alolan Ninetales into Registeel. I remember that I almost let my channel here contemplating for 3 minutes. But then I decide to go with Alolan Ninetales. I play a classic ABB against Nocturne, so I draw it out here. Now my Chesnaught in the back is quite free. If it is the Dedenne, he used Dedenne quite a lot because it has so many good neutral matchups against my team. Even Chesnaught, it one-shots with a player off almost. So I expect the Dedenne again in the back because it's so safe for him on the safe switch. On top of that, my Chesnaught with a slight energy advantage is quite good against it. I'd go straight foul player because if I throw a return, I just end up with getting less damage in. I don't need much HP on my Alolan Ninetales anywhere, much energy, because it's walled by Registeel regardless. And I have this... I get rid of the Nocturne exactly at the place. I need to get rid of it. So, yeah, this is perfectly fine at this point. If it is Medicham, it can be tough, but I also win the 2 shields there. Umbreon is actually worst case scenario simply because I can't just superpower there. But they do have the Dedenne. If the Dedenne double baits here, it becomes very iffy. But I'm gonna go straight Frenzy. Frenzy does so much damage because the Dedenne is really, really fragile. A player off will definitely one-shot me, so I gotta shield everything. Luckily, it doesn't bait me. This makes me very, very confident in my matchup. If he does shield this will take out the Dedenne. But he does shield it up. Doesn't keep shields for his Registeel, which does make him very vulnerable for that superpower. I'm not in Focus Plus range yet. Maybe with a couple lock-ons. But he CMPs with me here, very good counting. But I'm going to shield regardless because I want to get rid of this thing. I want to get rid of this mouse that threatens my Chesnaught. Boom, down it goes. And now we have energy on Alolan Ninetales and we have a full Chesnaught. Well, not a full Chesnaught. We have a healthy Chesnaught here. It's going to get to superpower, which is super effective, and then I can clear my debuff. The thing is, Registeel can never stack 2 moves, so that's just really convenient. I can swap out here. He would still need 5 seconds, at least 5.5 seconds to get to another charge move on my Chesnaught if he throws 1 Focus Blast, so he has to like undercharge and farm down. But if I get to another Weather Ball here, he just gets too low. So I get to another Weather Ball here, and now I can basically Power Snow / Vine Whip down, and I win this battle despite the terrible lead. So that kind of again shows the flexibility of the Chesnaught Alolan Ninetales core if there are no solid fire types on the field. He did use Lurantis in game 2. It's quite solid with Fury Cutter, Leaf Blade, Superpower. Charge Move comes out so fast. It is iffy to use in a Nocturne meta though. But again, so is Chesnaught really. It's just basically similar to Chesnaught. King OWT. This is the definition of a meta team. It could be a little bit more meta if you have Umbreon instead of Alolan Ninetales. Regardless though, this team covers about everything. I don't have a lot of solid options here. My Sableye probably looks the best, but if he has Charmander Ninetales, then it doesn't. Let's take a look at how these battles go. It's actually a pretty tough matchup, but we lead Bastiodon. Here it comes into Lanturn. If this is Watergun, this is not great. If it's Spark, this is actually neutral. I have a very XL Bastiodon, despite the CP. That's a little bit low for a Bastiodon. For a maxed out Bastiodon, but I survived 3 surfs easily. I'm gonna keep that energy going Sableye because I need to bait out a potential Noctowl, and it could be Noctowl in the back when they have Lanturn in the lead because they need to cover my Chesnaught. But they're not swapping out. I'm gonna go for that return on the CMP here. This will do a lot of damage. It won't KO yet, but this ensures that I at least get it really, really low. At this point, I basically flip switch advantage if they shield. Oh, actually, I no shield, knowing I survive. Okay. They go with Galarian Stunfisk, which is super fine for me. I basically have switch advantage at this point because the timers will be up once I swap in my Chesnaught here. Chesnaught will wall this, and honestly, my opponent is really lucky I didn't lead it because it would have destroyed this Lanturn lead with Galarian Stunfisk in the back. It doesn't matter though. I'm just gonna bring in Chesnaught, build up some energy here. Can be anything at this point. The worst thing in the bag will probably be the Medicham. The good thing about Medicham is Bastiodon resists the charge moves of most Medichams if they run Ice Punch Psychic, but the counts obviously double super effective are not very good for me. They use Shield here though, which is interesting. I guess they want to get off this Earthquake, which is resist, but would still chunk a lot. And again, if it is Medicham, I need to preserve this Chesnaught here. They try to catch on Trevenant. I'm gonna throw anyway to just make it a bit safer for my Bastiodon. Bastiodon is still very fine here though, even if I didn't throw. You can see that does about 40% and I already have some energy here. I can now just smack this down. This won't do too much. I honestly should shield this though because now he can take me out with a C-Bomb. But yeah, Shadow Ball just is nothing. Gonna throw the Flamethrower. If he shields this, I can farm down and Flamethrower their Galarian Stunfisk. And if he lets it go, well, then Chesnaught cleans up. So basically, there's not much my opponent can do anymore against the thick wall, which didn't even have an RPS matchup here. Maybe that's why I featured this. I think this is a matchup I did win 3-0. I'm very close on a Flamethrower. It only does about 35% to Galarian Stunfisk, but it will KO from this range here. And then Lanturn is not healthy enough to take on this Bastion anymore. It will feint to Smackdown, so that's a good game. Bastion actually putting in work. They actually use it in basically every single matchup that I had. Next match against my good friend Elite, who I'm surprised he's still qualified for Play Pokemon World Championships. I have no doubt he will, though, at some point if he goes to another tournament. And he's running one of his favorite Pokemon, Frostlast. A tricky Pokemon here against myself is the Gliscor. Because even Lanturn struggles there. The wing attacks are resisted, but Earthquake hits very hard. Chesnaught doesn't take damage from super effective, doesn't take damage from the charge move, but does take double super effective from wing attacks. So I kind of need my Alolan Nidos on that. Let's take a look at how this battle goes. Again, Elite is a really good player, so this is gonna be a difficult matchup. Medicham lead, and I tell myself, there's going to be Nocturne on the back. 100% that there's Nocturne on the back. Somehow, people just love bringing Nocturne, even though I have Bastiodon, Alolan Nidos, Power Snow, which everyone knows by now, and Spark Lantern. They still bring the freaking Nocturne every time. So, I should just keep my Chesnaught here and not swap out. Yeah. And this is what I do, I swap out. So I make this very difficult for myself now, because that Nocturne on the back has nowhere to go, but this Lanturn definitely does. Like now it is aligned to my Power Snow Alolan Nidos, which is a pretty bad matchup. And that Medicham will be aligned to my Lanturn, and the Nocturne will be aligned to my Chesnaught. So I'm looking quite bad here. Luckily, let's let go. I'm going to throw another Weather Ball here, trying to get some chip damage in. Because if I can farm this down with Chesnaught, that'd be great. I can at least get like a superpower off on his Nocturne, which still does a solid 40% damage. Surf comes in, does KO the Alolan Ninetales, now bringing in my Chesnaught. And going to Vine Whip this Lanturn down. Hopefully it doesn't get to 2 moves here, because then I might have to shield one of these, which is not convenient. I basically cannot shield. But he doesn't get to another move. Now the Nocturne comes in. I throw superpower because I already expect him coming in. This wing attack will probably put me so low I cannot get to another move anymore. And then I swap in my Lanturn again. Lanturn, this Medicham already is quite low, but this is looking difficult because Medicham still has some energy. Gonna shield up the first move. I don't expect him to bait there. No debuff, luckily. I'm not going to bait, actually. Okay, I thought I was going to bait here. Maybe because 2 Thunderbolts should just do a trick here. But the Nocturne has 2 wing attacks here, so it's 4 off another Sky attack. And after this Psychic, I will definitely be in Sky attack range, so I need to farm up perfectly here. I need to be 3 off the next Thunderbolt. Take another count here, and at this point, I need to hope I don't get wing attack down in 3 wing attacks, and then I get to my Thunderbolt. This is very, very meticulous. It barely takes out the Medicham, and I get there to my Thunderbolt in 3 sparks. And this will KO the Nocturne. That's a very well salvaged game by myself. I wouldn't say a very good game, because if I just stayed in with Chesnaught versus Medi, there was basically no problem. Next matchup against Rick Flareon, a Play Pokemon Regional winner, and he's running the Shadow Charizard Shadow Swampert, which is a really good core. And I kind of want to bring that Bastion, which is good against Frostlast, against Charizard, against Lickitung. Lickitung is one of the Pokemon that I struggle with on my team, because Chesnaught is a fighter that doesn't even do that well against it. But I have Bastiodon, which is even better against Lickitung, because it wins with a shield down even. Let's take a look. Basically, that's where I need my Bastiodon. Let's take a look at how this goes. Bastiodon into Medicham. Yikes. Gonna say swap my Chesnaught here, actually, because in the previous 2 games that we played, we were 1-1 at this point. He didn't bring his Frostlast, didn't bring his Charizard. So I'm just like he was bringing Medicham, Registeel, Lickitung every time, so I expected again. But he decides to go AB against Sableye. Didn't expect the Sableye lead probably. And luckily for him, I'm not leading it. So I have my Chesnaught here. He lets the Frenzy go, which is a huge misplay because now I can flip this. But if he has Registeel in the back, then it's not great. I do expect Lickitung though because he is so weak to Sableye at this point. Flipping the matchup, 2 shields down though, but if I can get Bastiodon off Medicham, man, yeah, I kind of need that. But at this point, like, if it's Swampert or anything, it's just over. But in comes Lickitung. This is exactly what I need. Superpower does quite some damage, but as you can see, Lickitung is bulky enough to take 2 superpowers. My next one is debuffed, so it doesn't KO just yet. He swaps in, I anticipate really quick, and swap in my Sableye here. So now I don't throw any charge moves because I need to get as many Shadow Claws in. If I throw a charge moves, he gets a counter in, and I lose on a Shadow Claw. On the other hand, though, I feel very confident here because even if he were to take out my Sableye, my Bastiodon still might be able to smack this down simply because he doesn't have charge moves that are super effective on Bastiodon. But as you can see here, we simultaneously KO. I still have a full Bastiodon. He has 2 shields, 1 smackdown, takes down the Lickitung and wins me the game. If he just shields that Frenzy Plant, he definitely wins that matchup. So yeah, this was the team. I honestly think Chesnaught was super good, but pressuring the Noctowl was just very difficult. One Pokemon that I barely used, I'm not even sure if it was in any of these recordings because maybe I just didn't win any battles with it, was the Pelipper. Pelipper, I love Pelipper, but it's just not good in the current meta right now. Hope you liked the video and have a good one.